Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have Dan on Deth versus Derek on a blue Eons deck. Very spicy builds indeed. Looks like a Leyline actually in hand. Let's see these images queued up. Leyline of the Void for Dan, which is going to be a bit of a problem for the blue Eons deck. Not going to be able to utilize Echo of Eons as effectively. Can't flash it back from the graveyard if it's exiled. Got Thoughtseize taking a shot at Derek's hand. Grabbed a Arset, Parter of Veils. The Leyline is going to make sure that Emery, not very threatening, just 1/2 body for 3 mana. And what is going on here? We got a couple of Lotus Petals, LED, Dark Ritual. This all being sunk into the dark depths. 5 Ill-Gotten Gains. So completely shredding Derek's hand. All players discarding their hand and returning 3 cards from their graveyard. So we got a Dark Depths on board versus a Hellbent Derek. 3 mana, now 5 mana. Probably enough to cast everything in his deck. And Urborg, a good draw there for Dan. He can start chipping away at those counters on Dark Depths. It's not really how you draw it up, but it does create a little bit of a clock. And we've got Sai, Master Thopterus. That is a pain. I'm not going to lie. 1/1 colorless Thopters are not what you want to see when you're trying to win with the 2020 eventually. And right now, Derek actually winning this race. This Ill-Gotten Gains not doing what it needed to do. Top of his deck more than making up for, giving a clock in terms of Sai and the Thopter, but also the ability to potentially block a number of times. The more artifacts he gets, the worse it's going to be. And he can also start cashing in some artifacts to draw cards if need be. Not super efficient, but it is something. Rhinestone, waiting for a Painter Servant to arrive. Oh, and a Hull Breacher as well. Yeah, this aggro plan's coming together. And Urza. Ooh. Yeah, no, this is a big problem. Construct from Urza is going to be pretty beefy here. Hull Breacher's 3 power, super relevant. And now Urza making a Construct token, which is a 4/4. I mean, this is over next turn. Can he make a 2020? Let's see. 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, I guess maybe not quite. It might have been dead even with the 2020. That is not how you draw it up there with that Ill-Gotten Gains, leaving your opponent with just 2 cards total that early in the game. But yeah, showing some resiliency with blue Aeons. That is wild. On to game number 2. Looks like Dan's got another Leyline to begin. Oh no, is he mulling? It looks like he's mulling. Decision to make here. No, he's not mulling. Just has a Leyline to begin. Double Dark Ritual off of Lotus Petal. Lion's Eye Diamond. Karn. And I'm not 100% clear as to what the kill was there, because there was only 1 mana floating, and then there was LED. So Karn can go get the Helm of Obedience to mill out Derek, but I don't believe there was any mana left over to actually do that. Very interesting. Possible Derek's hand just lined up so poorly with Karn as well that he just scooped it up. Karn, a card good enough to be restricted in Vintage. We get to play with a 4 of here in Legacy. I do enjoy that difference. Of course, playing way back in the day when they actually separated the lists from Legacy and Vintage, it used to be that if a card was restricted in Vintage, it was banned what was previously 1.5. Eventually, they separated the lists, calling it Legacy. That is really hard to understate how important that is, because when Brainstorm got restricted in Vintage, pretty much all the Vintage players just started playing Legacy. It was a complete mass exodus from the format, toward the format where you could actually play with the cards you enjoy. Vintage is in a pretty good place right now in terms of playing the format, but a really big blow. I mean, we used to have massive tournaments consistently. A ton of support for the format now. Legacy is kind of in that spot. And I think growing generally in popularity. We've got a Dark Ritual. Ooh, Flusterstorm. Stops the Dark Ritual. 1-mana counters. Flusterstorm not amazing versus this deck. There's so many permanent cards that are just absolute bombs, but snag a Dark Ritual or a Thoughtseize. Some hope. No Leyline this game means this Emery's actually quite dangerous. Previous games, absolute trash here. And now we have a Karn. Let's stop the Mox Opal on the other side of the board. And it looks like Dan's going to try and pull together the Painter Grindstone combo. We'd already seen Grindstone. Painter's Servant. Has some utility in the blue decks. Here it's just part of a combo. In the blue decks, you tend to run Hydroblast or Pyroblast, some type of Elemental Blast, to be able to go after your opponent's mana base and other permanents. Pyroblast already a strong card. Oh, here we go. Painter is being cast. All right, so we've got the Grindstone and Painter Servant on board. Dan just needs 1 more mana. Do you have Lion's Eye Diamond on the sideboard? No, looks like he went to grab Chrome Mox. Close game here. Painter Grindstone on board, but he does need to get to the 3 mana. Derek do about this? Facing down lethal. Full use of all of his artifacts. That Karn has been cleared. Lion's Eye Diamond. Allowing for an Echo of Aeon, so Derek spinning the wheel. Dan almost certainly going to have a mana source available here. Question is, what is Derek going to be able to do with these 7 fresh cards? Is likely to be winning right now or just scooping. Got Emery hasn't been utilized. Probably could have used that with the Lion's Eye Diamond previously. Oh, but he draws another one anyways. There's his Bauble. That is going to be able to draw a card during the next turn upkeep. That is forever away. It's all about the right here and now, as Derek needs a way to win the game or stop Dan from winning on his turn. Like they're pulling up some Oracle text. Companion app allows for the entire card database, which is very helpful in players understanding the board state if there's ever any confusion. Necessarily have to call over the judge to get the Oracle text, which is helpful. Overall, it's been a huge net positive for running events. Really helps them be much more streamlined. Eric, maybe out of options here. See the game state progressing. Passes the turn. That is gonna do it. Very, very entertaining match. That echo at the end could have bailed him out. Could have found a Karn. There we go. We see Raven form. Could have potentially exiled one of those permanents instead. Dan taking it down with one of the many combos available in this Deth deck.